Glacier National Park has released its reservation plan for 2023, and it's a lot. So coming up on this episode of We're No Damn Experts, we're trying to break down all of that information, answer your questions to get you prepared to travel to the crown of the continent.
Best damn podcast, the best damn town. You want to get up, get ready to get down. With its big wide sky and the wild river Thames, if you want to go, we can take you there to Great Falls, Montana.
Welcome to the greatest damn town in Montana, Great Falls. I'm Rebecca Ingham.
I'm Shannon Newth.
And we're No Damn Experts. So I challenged you.
Yes.
I sent you a press release and I said, become an expert on this. Because last year we did an episode on this. I did the same thing to Maudie. I sent her an email. I'm like, become an expert on this. Because there's a lot of details. Now, not to intimidate you, but the last episode we did on the golden ticket for Glacier National Park skyrocketed.
Okay.
It was a premiere episode. You fans loved it. So here's the deal. If it doesn't perform well, Shannon's
clearly didn't do my
to
job.
blame.
Here's the thing, though. Aside from this, I one-upped it this year. We'll also have a video with someone from Glacier explaining it. We'll have more ways for you to absorb the information.
There's a lot of details. And folks, what we're talking about.
What are we talking about?
So, Glacier National Park. Y'all come out here. 50% of you that stay overnight in Great Falls go to Glacier National Park. We know this. The data tells us. And we're not tracking you. Like you
Rebecca's a nerd and loves data, so she knows this for sure.
This is 100% true. But starting in the pandemic, there's been some things happening at Glacier really under the auspice to protect the glaciers.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what glaciers are, they look like snow-capped mountains, but they're blocks of ice. So that's really what you're looking at. But Glacier has a lot of them, and they're getting smaller, and some are disappearing. In order to make your experience better, and to make my experience better, and to make sure those glaciers stay around as long as possible, they've started implementing a reservation system for going to the Sun Road. Now, some back history, that started in 2020. And it's fair to say it was a slight debabacle.
Yeah, it's
from a consumer standpoint.
From a consumer standpoint, right? It's a bit of a it's a lot to figure out.
And then after 2020, they're like, "Ooh, so there's some improvements that need to be made." In 2021, they did it again
and said, "Ooh,"
with some more changes and some more updates, and then they said in 2022. Well, we learned some stuff there, and they did it again, and they added more things you needed to be aware of.
Yes.
We're not going to talk about any of that because, in 2023, we've got another new set of parameters on how you can enjoy Glacier National Park. Why are we bringing it to you so soon? We know from the data people. You're going to start planning for your summer vacation, likely to Great Falls, Montana, and you might hit Glacier National Park. And if you're going to do that, you need to be prepared.
And some of these things happen starting in a few weeks for you to know about.
In addition to that, you are still, in general, Shannon's going to tell you everything you need to know. In general, you still need a reservation ticket. Plus an entry fee, coupon, pass, whatever we're going to call it, to do going to the Sun Road. East side is still best side.
Yes, and we'll explain why.
However, there's, the other big thing, if you want to go in before 6 or after 3 p.m.
In most places.
Oh, geez.
Yep. There's also a caveat to that this year, too.
You can sneak in without this reservation ticket, but your best bet is to listen to Shannon tell us all what she knows about what's happening in Glacier in 2023.
Yeah.
And then jump on the computer and be prepared for what the future is going to hold. So Shannon, let's start with, do you need new this year a reservation ticket to go into the east entrances that aren't going to the Sun Road, to Medicine, Mini Glacier?
Yes, and that's part of what's new for 2023. So the east side was fairly exempt from this reservation system in prior years. That is new this year, and it also includes, so on the east side, there are multiple entrances. One of them connects you to going to the Sun Road. However, yes.
Okay.
However, you do still need reservations to get into all of them. However, the east side reservation system, you don't need a reservation on the east side entrances until July 1st.
But
that is different from the west side. Yes, I know part of it still connects to the same place that the west side does.
No.
That was
My comment was going to be, I think last year the park didn't freaking open until July 1st.
Well, yes. So there's the whole other aspect.
I mean, the ability to get through on going to
the Sun Road. Right.
Snow removal.
Yes. So they start, let's talk for a moment. Going to the Sun Road is probably the main reason why people go to Glacier. I will say you should go to Glacier. Even if you can't go on going to the Sun Road, you're in the area, it's open. There's still beautiful hikes and wonderful things to see.
Correct.
But going to the Sun Road is kind of the main attraction, if you will. It's 53 miles,
Yep,
I believe.
sounds right.
From start to finish. 2-lane road, narrow road.
And it's the only road through Glacier National Park.
Correct. Yes. There's no, correct. People, we get that question a lot.
Yeah. So if you want to go in and go through the park and come out on the other side, the only way to do that is on going to the Sun Road.
Correct. There is, you can skirt around the bottom over by the Goat Lick and things like that on Highway 2.
Clearly
Yes.
one of my most favorite place in Glacier is Goat Lick, only because of the name.
The name, yes. On a total side note here, because that's
You
what we
don't
do
need
on
a-
this podcast.
You don't need a reservation system
don't-
or an entry pass to get into
You
Goat
sure
Lick.
don't. No. Also, this summer, suppose we have friends who own a raft and love that. Apparently, we're going to go floating on a raft trip where you're below, like looking up at the Goat
At
Lick.
Goat Lick?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be
So
awesome.
I'm excited for that. But that's a whole other
Who are
thing.
your friends? Maybe I'll become friends
Sam
with
and
them.
Tasha. I feel like you would get along with them. Yeah. Okay. So going to the Sun Road, because we're in, beautiful natural country here, get a lot of snow. This road is narrow and takes a lot of work to plow that snow.
53 miles.
Yeah. And you're on like cliff edges here. These are some brave men and women doing this job.
And to say it's the mountains is really an
a
understatement.
disservice
Like
to
it's
them, yeah.
the mountains.
Like jagged, rugged,
Okay.
beautiful mountains. And we'll share, it's entertaining video to see when Glacier shares
yeah.
those videos of the plowing happening. So we'll share those on our page as well as those come out. Plowing starts around April 1st. You say, isn't that plenty of time? Well,
No.
It totally depends on how much more snow we get. I mean, it snows into June in higher elevations, sometimes lower elevations. So they typically need until the end of June to get it cleared.
If it's a bad snow year, it'll take longer to get it cleared, which means there is no set day for the opening.
Correct.
All the way through going to the Sun Road. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You can still go in and go until the snow stops you and then turn around and come back out.
I believe so. I mean, I think, that's not a specific date either, and that, to my understanding, changes
Because
year to year because it...
Technically, the park is open year round.
Right.
You just can't
This is just
drive.
a driving situation. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So going to the Sun Road. So with that being said, the east side, you don't need a reservation until July 1st. So if it's a very efficient snow clearing year and they get it done in mid-June or
15th?
something,
Yeah.
then there is, you can go over to the east side and not have to have a reservation yet.
And you can go all the way through.
Yeah, it can go all the way through.
Assuming the snow is gone.
Yes.
To the west side.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
You can. Now, the west side, which is where, like on the, Kalispell side, the Lake McDonald side of the park, you need reservations for that starting May 26th. Now,
the
again,
road is likely not open.
Yep. I'm just regurgitating what I've been told here. Yes.
Oh,
So, yes,
okay.
the west entrance, as well as this is on the west side of the park, but North Fork, also May 26th. So, other update this year. Go ahead.
No, keep going.
Also, well, the North Fork isn't new this year, but this was new information to me because Pole Bridge, beautiful place. They're known for their bear claws.
Oh, yes.
At the Pole Bridge.
We've discussed it at length on this podcast.
Okay, people know then. But it's a pretty remote, it's already remote in Glacier. It's Glacier. But Pole Bridge, in my brain, is
completely
even
remote.
more remote.
There's only one reason you end up in Pole Bridge,
It's
and
for a
that's
bear
because
claw.
you were going to Pole Bridge.
The Pole Bridge
for a bear.
Mercantile. Okay, but in regards to Pole Bridge, though, why I bring that up, because that's in the North Fork area. You can drive the North Fork Road all the way up to Pole Bridge, no reservation.
Okay.
So you
that
can
was
drive
my
that.
big question.
Yes. So you can drive the North Fork Road all the way up to Pole Bridge,
But you
no
take
reservation.
that little, based on this map I'm looking at, you
Yes.
take the right and you head into the North Fork area.
Yeah. So if you go just past Pole Bridge at the Pole Bridge Ranger Station entrance, that's where you do need a reservation. That also starts May 26th.
So we've both been to Pole Bridge. We've
Yes.
both had the bear claw.
Mm-hmm.
It's well worth the drive.
Oh, absolutely.
When you're in Pole Bridge,
Mm-hmm.
that's where the North Fork entrance begins. Is like somewhere.
There's a Ranger Station entrance there.
to the like you're going to go around the Mercantile.
Yep.
And that's where you're going to
the
find
left.
your entrance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Correct. You can go to Pole Bridge, though, drive the North Fork Road to Pole Bridge, no reservation.
Correct.
'Kay.
Once you want to go into the wilderness
Past
area.
there, that's when you need the reservation. And that is on the west side of the park, technically. So those reservations start May 26th.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you want to go in on the west side, you have to have your stuff in place by May 26th.
May 26th.
If you want to
East
go on the
side,
east side, July
July
1.
1st. Correct. So again,
Okay. So we got that part taken care
yes. Okay. Let's talk about time frames on any given day. Oh, no, go
of.
ahead.
Wait.
Okay.
So when you get your reservation ticket,
Yes.
can you also buy your park pass?
Well, because you have to go to recreation.gov to buy your reservation, I believe there's a link on there where you can also buy your park pass.
Okay.
I'll look that up more. I printed this off. I printed off the fees and everything. You do have to, and if you go on Glacier's website, and we'll have links to this as well, they have a vehicle reservation page on there as well. So you need reservation time frame or not, you have to have a park pass.
And a reservation
That is
ticket.
different than a reservation. That was also something I noticed this summer with visitors.
Yep.
I'd ask, "Oh, do you have a pass?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, no. Do you have a reservation?" They're like, "Oh, no." I'm like, "Well, you're screwed."
Putting it politely. That's why we try to get this out
Yes.
soon, is because your vacation to Glacier will be ruined if you do not get a reservation ticket.
Yes.
Except there's been some loopholes, let's say,
Yeah.
around this. Regardless of dates,
Mm-hmm.
we've got some time, and if you're going to book things inside the park, those are still loopholes that we can jump through, right?
Yes. I don't know as much about the inside the park, but so here are the whatever you want to call it. So for time frames, if you're a real early riser, you can get in on going to the Sun Road or wherever these entrances are that normally require reservations, if it's before 6 o'clock in the morning, you're early riser,
God
you can
bless
get,
ya.
good for you, because you can get in before 6 a.m. without a reservation. Now then, before I go further,
okay,
you still need a park pass.
yes,
Park pass, no reservation needed if you're in before 6 a.m.
any time of the year.
Yes, that they take people.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's okay. There is a difference to that this year, though, due to construction on the west side. So the west side entrance, not North Fork, west entrance by Lake McDonald there.
West Glacier.
West Glacier. You cannot get in before 6 a.m. So that's because of road construction and restoration on the roadways.
Then what time can you get in?
After 3 p.m.
Is the only time you can get into the
without a reservation. Okay.
But if you
West entrance at West Glacier, Lake McDonald. I need a park pass after May 26th, between May 26th and September 10th. I need a reservation. I can go in the west entrance at West Glacier without a reservation after 3 p.m., but not
early.
before 6 a.m. Now, where overnight that closes, I don't know. Like when you have to be out by, but you can't.
When can you get in with your reservation ticket on the west side?
Still after 6 a.m.
Okay.
You just can't go in on that side before 6 a.m. Every other entrance that requires a reservation,
you're good
you
to go.
can still go in before 6 a.m. The west entrance one, you just can't get in before 6 a.m. because of road construction. That's when they're doing it.
Okay. But after
Clear as
3
mud?
p.m., yep. After 3 p.m., any entrance, you don't need a reservation
and you can
ticket to get in, but you still need your entry pass.
Correct. Yes.
Got it, folks? I hope you're taking notes at home.
Okay. So here is the other thing. So we're talking about reservation. Park pass, you can go on, to my understanding, buy your park pass now. For your pass, I think so. Okay. Maybe I'll confuse people with that. Specifically talking about when you need a reservation, there are different time frames when you can purchase your reservation. So
I can't purchase it now.
Yeah. So say you're a planner, you want to go on July 26th through the 28th.
Okay.
Just as throwing that out there.
I'm excited. And it's not a free day.
Yes. So
because we have free day, folks.
Yeah, there are those two. We're pretending like I don't think any of those fall in that time. So I'm just throwing out a random date.
July 26th through the 28th, we're going to do Glacier as part of our vacation.
Okay. I know I want to do that. We're sitting in January. You can't buy those yet. You have to wait until March 1st.
To buy my reservation?
To buy your reservations for July. So let me break this down further. So to buy your reservations, there are two options. They open up reservations 120 plus days in advance. If you miss that, you try to buy them 24 hours in advance. So I'm going to talk about the time frames because it's kind of a rolling block schedule.
But when you say there are two options, there's just two date options. You can only get
time frame
your
options.
Reservation ticket at recreation.gov.
Correct.
Don't call anyone.
The way in which you get it does not change.
Correct.
The time frame options for you to purchase them, that's what we're talking about.
Okay. So you miss out on March 1's tickets.
Yeah.
For July 26th through 28th. Your best option then is to do July 25th and hope you get one.
Correct.
Or you're going in before 6 or after 3 on the east side, except on the west.
Correct. So I just gave that as an example those dates, let me go broader and explain the full rolling block system.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to this.
Okay.
I've never understood it.
This is it. It makes sense on paper when you look, and if you have a date in mind, it's just kind of a lot to keep track of. So the first date is coming up soon. So on February 1st, reservations will open, meaning they'll be available for you to buy on recreation.gov. February 1st for Going to the Sun Road and the North Fork for May 26th through the end of June. So basically, park open date, month of June.
So if you're planning to do a vacation at that time frame, you got to be ready on February 1.
Correct.
Or the day before you're planning to do it.
And we say February 1. They're open after that, but just the likelihood of them being available is not high. These things go quickly.
So you may not know the answer to this, and I get that. How many tickets are available?
I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that, and I don't think
anybody knows
told me that. I don't think I was told that, or that there's like a set number necessarily. Well, the 24-hour one in advance, I'm not sure if there's a set number. I don't know the answer.
There
is the
is.
Point.
Like, they sell out.
They know. Right. No, they do. Like, they do sell out. I just don't know what that number is or how that
quickly,
how it changes on any given day.
Okay.
So February 1st.
That's not new. We're completely still in the dark on that.
On how many are available? Correct. I can try to get an answer to that. I don't know. I don't
know if it's going to be helpful.
I don't know if it matters because you don't know. It doesn't show up anywhere. You know,
it's not like
there's like
5 tickets left.
Right. It doesn't do that. Not like, you're shopping for pants and like 5 left in stock. You're not going to see that. So it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's a lot without being too much.
Well, and I think the other part of that is they're not going to give you actual numbers because it changes all the time.
Correct.
Depending on how many have sold, how many cars they're actually seeing go through will change the 24-hour thing.
Yeah.
I might be making that up, but that's what I remember from last year.
Okay. So February 1st, if you want to do Going to the Sun and the North Fork when the park opens on May 26th through June 30th. Okay. Next block, next month, we're in March 1st.
Okay.
March 1st means you can get ticket reservations for July.
Okay.
April 1st means you can get reservations for August. And May 1st means you can get them for September. Now keep in mind, it's supposed to close. The reservation system stops on September 10th. You can still get in after that. The reservation system stops.
The snow is going to start to fall about September 14th.
You can still get it. Like, it's kind of nice, especially for some locals who maybe didn't get a chance in the summer to go. Like, you can drive up in September because the reservation isn't required.
Or you folks with no kids, I know you love that shoulder season travel.
Yes.
It's the perfect time.
Yes. I talked about that with her as well, and you can, her being the representative from Glacier National Park.
Who we're also going to have a video of.
Yes, that's who you'll see in the video. And she talked about the shoulder season. When that road isn't fully open, you can hike or bike past road closures. You can see Going to the Sun before it's open to vehicles. Speaking of that, she talked about e-bikes, that those have become really popular in Glacier. So you ride a bike, but you don't have to pedal up Going to the Sun or whatever.
That would be your
preferred method. Yeah. So there are companies, she said, around the park that offer those.
Oh, okay. So here's my next question.
All right.
There are companies around the park that offer e-bikes. So if you book an e-bike package with one of the vendors, do you need to still have your pass and reservation?
Well, I would.
Maybe that's a harder question because, like, if you've booked an experience inside the park,
you don't need that.
You don't at all. You do is like, hey, I'm staying at this place, or I have a red bus.
Yeah. So like the red jammers, right? Yeah. Like those, you're in that vehicle. It's a park person running that vehicle, so you just go into the park. I mean, you're going to pay the outfitter, if you will, the red jammer people, to drive you, but you don't have to worry about that then. So with the e-bikes, I don't know, like if you're going on an e-bike tour with a tour guide, then no. If you're probably renting it and just going in on your own, then you probably still need to figure that out on your own, would be my guess.
Okay. But if you have an experience reserved inside the park, which folks, if you're going to reserve your experience, this is what we've found historically, do the experience, because the people in there, granted they're paying, you've paid, they still want to give you the experience. So participate, because we saw historically a lot of people booking these experiences inside the park and then not using them just because they wanted to get in and do the going to the Sun Road, but then like they never showed up for their
whatever experience,
their canoe trip or whatever it is.
And
it
just ruins it for everybody then.
And secondarily, there's not a lot of vendors inside the park. So if you're going to book an experience,
things sell out.
You need to do that quickly as well, because those kind of experiences are like if you're booking at a hotel at McDonald Lodge or Mini Glacier Lodge or those things. My understanding, if I'm still correct, get you past that reservation and entrance pass.
I would assume so. I'm not going to say anything hard and fast on that just because I'm not entirely sure.
Did I not ask you to become an expert?
You said on the reservation system. I did that. That's okay. That feels outside of that. Also, it might depend on where. Like, I don't know if I'm staying at Mini Glacier Lodge or, Lake McDonald. I have to go through an entrance to get there. So I don't know if I can just flash my hotel reservation and get in. So that's where I was like, if you're doing that, ask where you are staying, what you need. I'm not an expert on that part.
We will get you more details and give you an update on that on our website. So please check our website. Because historically you've been able to do that. Like you've got...
If you have an experience booked or whatever, you can typically, Well, and some of those, again, might depend on how many days you're planning to use it for. Like you might be able to get in that day, but not the next day with it.
Well, that's another question on the reservation thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a window in which to use it? Let's go back to July 26th through 28th.
Okay.
So I get my reservation ticket. I was part of the lucky group on March 1. I got my ticket.
Yes.
But then my plans change. Am I still going to be able to use that reservation ticket like on July 27th, 29th, 25th, or not?
I'll preface this by saying I'm not confident in this answer. I would say because they're selling them for specific days and things, I would say you probably don't have any leeway on days on either side. I don't know that answer either. I have more information that I do know things about, but none of that's it.
I think you've done pretty good so far.
Okay.
I've just never...
If you can adjust it.
I think there was like...
It feels to me like you're kind of
stuck.
SOL if you're like...
But for some reason in my gut, it felt like there was a window. So folks, don't pay attention to this. We may be telling you lies. It'll be on our website.
I'll email Jenna and ask. Remind me when we're done. I'll make a list of all the things I didn't know and we'll find out.
You can just re-listen to this episode.
I mean, I'm going to be doing that too.
So what else do you know? Not that you haven't known stuff already, but...
Yes. I feel like I did a decent job at becoming an expert on the actual system, just not the questions you're asking.
Well, and the interesting thing, I think, this year, just as a recap, as she becomes an expert on her next topic, is that staggered purchase date thing. I think that'll actually help because historically that has been kind of mass chaos. And usually everything sells out within hours.
Moments, yeah. So, okay, before I move on to this other thing I was going to say. So we talked about the rolling 120 plus day out reservation system where it rolls February 1st, March 1st, April 1st. So there's those dates. Let's talk about the 24-hour in advance one.
Okay.
A little bit more. So say I missed, it's
mi-
February 15th. I'm like, oh, I do want to go in June. Well, you likely missed out on the reservations for that. So what you're going to have to do is either pick another date, or you can try to get one 24 hours in advance. I say try because this is a chaotic if you're on the end of trying to make this happen for yourself.
Is this at 8 a.m.? You had better be logged in and prepared.
Yes. So we talked about where you're getting these doesn't change whether you're doing 120 plus days out, whether you're doing 24 hours in advance.
You're still at recreation.gov.
You have to go to recreation.gov. You're not calling. We can't call for you. You can't mail
stop
in
here.
something.
You can't show up at the park entrance
and be like,
nothing
am I the first
else
one?
is going to work except
It's recreation.gov. So what you're going to want to do is go on now and set up your profile. Get familiar with the website, set up your profile, set up your payment method, set all of that up. So when it opens, you aren't sitting there trying to put all of that information in and missing your window there. So it opens. If I want to go in, so say the West Side reservations open on May 26th. I didn't get an advance reservation, but I really want to go on reservation opening day on May 26th.
I would highly recommend against that, but this is your story.
This is the story.
Tell it any way
so
you want.
Go. So I had better before that. Okay, let me back up. May 26th, it opens, meaning on May 25th at 8 a.m., I better be ready to go and on that website, recreation.gov.
Yep.
So that's the whole deal. Get on now, build your profile, all of that jazz, so it's ready. So right at 8 a.m., refresh that page, get it, check out, go, be done, because they go really quickly. And again, we don't know on any given day how many are available. Now, you say, payment profile. I thought this was a park. Don't I get in? Well, it's a $2 processing fee for recreation.gov is what you're paying when you make a reservation.
Yep. So that hasn't gone up.
No.
But you also need your
But you are paying for your park pass, your entrance pass.
And that's
$35 per vehicle. There are other things. If you want to go in on a motorcycle, it's $30. If you want to walk in, it's $20.
If you're going to do a bicycle, that's a different fee too.
So we'll just say in general $35 for a vehicle.
Do you know, can you go in with an RV or a pickup pulling a fifth wheel camper?
I sure wouldn't recommend it. Having driven going to the Sun Road. There are the campsites within the park past some of the entrances.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend driving going to the Sun Road with that.
Well, I wouldn't either, but there are people out there that are going to ask us.
You probably can. I don't know. Oh, man.
It wasn't part of the reservations.
It wasn't part of the system. It wasn't.
Just another curveball.
I wouldn't recommend it. That's what we'll say, but I feel like I've probably seen them, but I don't know for sure.
So,
that's a good question, though.
There had been first come, first serve camping options in the park.
I don't know anything about camping.
Okay.
I'll just I only know the driving into the park situation, but apparently not
folks,
about RVs.
We didn't ask her to become an expert for the podcast. We just needed some information on the ticketed reservation system.
Which I have. I have pages of notes on that. The camping, though, I get overwhelmed when people ask about camping because I don't really know.
Well, and you've got in-park camping. You've got, maybe we will just do an episode on camping.
Yes.
Near Glacier National Park.
Yeah, we should. And just in general so people know what they're getting into.
Let me just tell you, folks, there's no need to camp. You can just stay in a hotel.
Yes.
Because that's how we, pay for this product.
Yes. Please come hang out in Great Falls. It's a nice drive. Okay. Yeah.
What else have you learned?
Else do I know? I'm sorry. I did not familiarize myself with the camping situations. All I know is they sell out real quick and don't wait and be like, oh, I'll just pull my RV or pitch my tent in the park tonight.
I have to think that there is no more first come, first serve camping.
I would think that it's all Because, I mean, there's probably not any
But,
available.
Well, because most of that was on the west side, and with construction, I wonder if it's gone.
Yeah, that might mess it up a little bit.
We'll add this to our piece of information about what we're going to tell you about Glacier on our website.
And just keep checking back on the website because
We'll update.
we will update as we
learn.
get more, as Rebecca asks me more questions that I don't know the answer to. I will add that.
You know, we could just lie, but I don't think that's a good service to people.
I mean, I know that's your style on the other podcast, but maybe not this one.
I do tell you when I'm about to possibly lie.
That's true. You do give us a...
I have not done that yet today.
We're trying real hard. I've been very honest about what I don't know, which is a lot.
But you've learned quite a bit so far.
Okay. Speaking of something I've learned, here's another set of things to remember. So if you buy a pass, reservation.
Get
the
a
wording, it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reservation
Ticket.
for going to the Sun Road, whether you're going in, regardless of date. We're not going to say a date here. We're just saying if you're going to do going to the Sun Road reservation, whether you're going in on the west side or the east side at St. Mary, that reservation is valid for 3 consecutive days.
Whoa. So I buy it for January.
Nope.
I buy it for July 26th. It's
Yeah.
valid for the 26th, 27th, and 28th.
Yes.
So does that mean?
Oh, so does that answer our question? Yeah, because it's 3 consecutive days.
So if
So
I
if
want to
you-
go on the 27th, I can. If I want to go on the 25th, probably not.
No, because your reservation didn't start till the
28th,
26th.
I could.
Yep, 26th, 27th, and 28th. So those 3 days.
Huh.
Now, if you're not going to the Sun Road, but you have a vehicle reservation for the North Fork where we talked about,
Yeah.
past Polbridge, Mini Glacier or Two Medicine. Mini Glacier, Two Medicine are on the east side. Those are valid for 1 day.
Oh my God. Why? Why, Shannon?
Yep. Mm-hmm. I asked that too.
Okay.
You also, just throwing this out here too. So say, I'm going to go to the east side. I don't want to go do going to the Sun, but I'm going to go to the east side. You have to have a separate reservation for each valley entrance area. So you can't say, I'm just going to go explore the east side and expect to get in at both Mini Glacier and Two Medicine. Two Medicine and Mini Glacier, as well as St. Mary, all require their own vehicle reservation.
How about we just take a collective sigh and go, are you...
Now.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do going to the Sun Road.
Yeah.
I need my reservation ticket because I'm going to do it in July. I'm just making it easy.
Yeah.
Do I have to pick a side? Do I have to pick whether I'm going in on the east entrance or the west entrance if I'm going in July?
If you're going in July, because both of them would be open then, I would say probably not. However, I will say this. I have not attempted, and it's not open yet, to go through recreation.gov. I've never attempted myself to do that. So I don't know within that menu after July 1st. I think you still probably clarify which entrance you're going in. Because I think, I would say, yes, it still matters because the different ends of going to the Sun Road open at different times.
So I would assume you'd have to pick what entrance.
You have to pick and commit to the entrance.
This requires more planning than I think any Montanan has ever done in their entire life.
I mean, like when you really break it down, it's like, because I've reviewed this. When I first looked and you first emailed me, you were like, become an expert. I was like, but I thought our podcast was called We're No Damn Experts. Why do I have to try to expert? I mean, I know why, but it was just a lot. And I was like, how am I ever going to get this? But now that I've looked at it a few times and stuff, I get it to the extent of what I've been able to answer, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
So maybe people are sitting at home going,
You guys just
why?
confused me more than I.
Well, there's no way not to
There's no easy
confuse
way.
you.
Yeah. I'm gonna
because
try,
you've
yeah.
got 3 days, 1 day, what entrance,
certain times,
dates, times. It's confusing.
Yes.
So just listen to us often.
Yes.
Listen to this episode as many times
Maybe we'll
as
do
it
like
takes.
a mid-season refresh or something. I will try to make it as I don't know about you. Sometimes bullet points help me because it just like breaks it down a little easier. So I might try to do that in varying like social media posts, like about
pictures work really
this
well.
This picture helps a lot too. So we'll have this on our
you
website.
all can see it.
Yeah, it's a map that has nice little boxes pointing to entrances.
Okay.
So we'll discuss this later, but we can put this picture on our website. I think so. Yeah. Okay.
Now, maybe you've thrown your hands in the air, like 20 minutes ago when we started this conversation. You're like, I'm not going to Glacier.
Yeah.
Because I do know people who, at the first sign of resistance in trying to accomplish something, their hands are thrown, they're done, they're not doing it.
I understand that. Yeah.
Here's some suggestions. The Bob Marshall Wilderness Complex to the south and the Rocky Mountain Front to the south is a fabulous glacier-like experience. You don't... Now, I'm going to say glacier-like. It's not glacier.
It's not glacier, but...
And it's not going to the Sun Road.
Yeah.
But if you're an early quitter... This is your best option.
Yeah.
And you can go in at a number of locations. Just, start looking at the Bob Marshall Wilderness Complex or the Rocky Mountain Front. And then you may be screaming at this podcast. Why? This is stupid. Government, blah, blah, blah.
We're just the messengers.
Just calm down and stop.
Yeah.
That's why we started telling you about the glaciers and their...
Right.
And because the reservation system on going to the Sun Road has worked well, it has pushed traffic into Two Medicine and Mini Glacier, which reduces that experience.
Yeah.
If you're going to travel all the way from Pennsylvania, Jim, we know you're listening. If you're going to travel all the way, don't you want to make sure you have a good experience?
Yeah.
It just means you have to plan. It's not any different than a trip to Disneyland where you have to plan what wristbands and what rides and it's just
I'd much rather plan for Glacier than Disneyland.
100%.
Deal with that. My gosh. I will say, so in talking with Jenna, who is the woman I spoke with from Glacier, aside from we talked about the glaciers, really, because that was my starting out question to her, because this is the third year of this reservation system program. That was my starting question to her, as you'll see in the video, is why this program? And she said over the last 10 to 15 years, they've seen steady increase in visitation. She says Glacier's been discovered on a national and international level, which it should be. It's gorgeous, and people should see it. It's a national park. That's why it's there. But because of that, there's more supply and demand for it, more people coming than there is capacity for on that road, in those parking lots. So they do this to protect the resources, to protect the wildlife, to protect your experience in the park, and to continue to provide a high quality. Because if you've been to Glacier before this system or when you were going, it's just
my last
beautiful.
trip to Glacier almost ruined the entire experience because of the inability to pull in anywhere, the inability to stop and enjoy. It was very tough. So it just soils that experience. And to be in such a naturally beautiful location,
you don't want to be bumper to bumper with the car in front of you or circling a parking lot the whole time.
Right.
Yeah. Now, that being said, and as you mentioned, because we talked about at the beginning of the podcast how the east side was fairly exempt from this reservation system last year, and now it's included. And that's because, as we were talking about, as reservations on the west side became more needed and it became more populated on the west side, that pushed people to go explore on the east side, which is great because the east side is the best side. But now that means it started to get, St. Mary is bustling at 10 a.m. So now they require reservations as well. So that's the whole listen, I'm not a fan. I wish this wasn't a thing.
Oh, 100%.
I don't like, as someone who lives here, I love being able to be like, I want to drive up to Glacier this weekend.
But it's the reality.
But that's where we're at.
And I know you don't know this, so we'll just talk hypothetically.
Okay.
Because nobody knows this. But I foresee a future where you aren't going to be able to freely drive into the park.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to take a bus, like at Zion National Park.
Yeah.
You only have the option to go in a portion of that park on their bus transit system.
Yeah.
So right now, be grateful that you still have the ability to take your own vehicle through.
Mm-hmm.
You can plan your own trip with a little bit more ease that way.
And you might get lucky still with 24-hour notice.
Yeah, granted, you still have to plan. There is more planning. And we know Great Falls is kind of a really nice gem where you haven't really had to plan.
Right.
If you want to do a quick getaway,
you just do it.
You can. You don't have to worry about rooms not being available or the rates being extraordinarily ridiculous, or not being able to get onto the trailhead. But as more and more people come here, you're going to find that, and that's what's happened at Glacier. I mean, Great Falls is still good, but Glacier's having those growth pains, and that's why we do this, is so that everyone can have still a great experience, which also reminds me to our recreate responsibly messaging. Be kind to folks. Don't
push someone down while you're trying to hike a trail.
Right. And don't start yelling at the person who's trying to explain things to you if you don't have your reservation ticket and you only have your entry. Everyone gets it's frustrating.
Right.
I get it's frustrating.
But the information's out there.
It is. You're just going to have to take some time to consume it.
Yeah. And it's,
unfortunately, there's really no one you can call. So don't ask.
No, which is why we're trying to do the best we can to dispel some or disperse some misinformation. Along with that, so I will say, just because there are a limited number of reservations does not mean you can lollygag around and still expect to pull up to a trailhead and find a place to park.
Yeah.
Because Jenna and I were talking about how I think she used like the Avalanche Lake Trail as an example, or the you go to the Logan Pass parking and there's a number of offshoots there. There's the Highline Trail, which is a beautiful one, really popular. You still need to be on it and be there when things open to ensure you get a parking spot. So there's still you still can't quite relax after you have the reservation and expect it to just be easy once you get in, because they're still allowing a lot of people in to experience it, but there's still limited parking, things like that. So you still need to get up and get going early if you want to plan to pull over anywhere, or hike one of the, especially the more popular trailheads, or more popular trails, I should say, because those are still busy parking lots.
And they'll fill up.
And they fill up quickly. Yeah. One more note while we're talking about things.
Do you think week versus weekend matters?
I would say, I would assume that weekends are still more popular, but in the height of summer, I think it's going to be,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, because people are coming to visit and vacation and kids are out of school and all of that, which is, if you'll notice the reservation system time frame, because Glacier is, you can get into Glacier before May 26th and after September 10th, but you notice those dates are right around when school kind of starts and ends for a lot. So people are doing their vacation. So,
yeah.
One more thing I'll add from Jenna is just, you're in a park, right? We hear this more from Yellowstone National Park adventures, but watch out for wildlife. Take your bear spray.
Yeah.
Be aware. They don't, let the bears out at a certain time. You're not guaranteed to see anything. You're not guaranteed to not be in a dangerous situation with a wild animal or something else. So
even at Goat Lick Park.
Even at Goat Lick. So be aware. They're there. That's their home. You're in their home. Yep. Just because it's an established park doesn't mean they're calm, tame, whatever. So be aware. Take your bear spray. Take bells. Things like that.
hike in groups.
Yeah, all of make noise, all of those things. Do some research ahead of time.
So would Watson be allowed to accompany you in Glacier National Park?
Watson is my wonderful dog. No, sadly he can't.
Can he even be in the car when you go through?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he used to be able to. I've been through the park with the dog in the car before.
He just can't get out.
He can't hike the trails with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get that question often.
Yeah. And it seems, right, you're in vast wilderness. It seems like you should be able to. Because not everyone is a responsible dog owner, right? So it's a risk for the dog and wildlife and all of that. So unfortunately, no. So plan accordingly with your animals. Yes.
And just as a weird side note, that also applies to Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center here in town because it's a federal park installation type thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Little more than you ever wanted to know about Glacier.
Okay, I'm going to keep reviewing. Do you have any other questions? I'm going to review here and see if I've missed anything of the things that I've learned.
No, I'm just going to recap for you listeners. Loopholes are before 6 except for the west entrance because of construction, after 3, which is kind of a nice thing because it used to be after 5.
And it used to be, that's gotten bumped up every year that time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's your loophole if you don't want to try and deal with this system. Recreation.gov is the only place to get your reservation ticket. What did you find out?
Well, I was just going to mention, I was looking at, again, when I was talking with Jenna, we were talking about the advantages of the east side. You can get in before 6 a.m., all areas of the east side. Doesn't require a reservation until later. So even though Going to the Sun might not open until the end of June, you can get in those other places without a reservation, before July there. There's also, you can drive into the Rising Sun checkpoint, which is 6 miles inside of the park boundary on Going to the Sun Road through the St. Mary entrance. And you can access the visitor center at St. Mary. You can catch the park shuttle there, all without having a vehicle reservation at the east entrance.
I've always wanted to know that.
Yep. Yeah. So there's that too about the east side. And of course you're not going to have the road construction and delays on the east side either. Does that make sense as you're looking at the map?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the Rising Sun checkpoint inside St. Mary entrance.
So let's go to Camas Road. Camas Road last year needed a reservation entrance ticket. Does that, and on this map it says you don't need it. Is that because it's under construction this year? Which would make sense because last year it was.
I would assume so, yeah. That's my guess. Yeah, unless you're accessing it from
West Glacier.
Highlighted on here through Apgar, through the West Glacier entrance through Apgar, there's a section there by the Camas entrance that does show a reservation. So either that's going to not require a reservation to go all the way through, or you can enter off of North Fork Road here, or that's going to be under construction.
It was rough.
I would guess that the construction's still continuing there.
I want to say I went to Glacier last year.
Mm-hmm.
It may have been 2 years ago.
Okay.
And all we did was come in the west and do this Camas Road to...
Up to Polbridge area?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that a lot of the construction is happening around Lake McDonald and this section, Apgar, this section in here, to my understanding, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's part of it.
Folks, the short and sweet, we have no idea.
I'll have to, that's another thing we'll have to.
That's a new one. Because I remember that one being an issue. It's a short road.
It is. And
there's not a whole lot going on there.
It's an essential part of the Glacier experience. It's just a beautiful area. And they will say, and we'll connect this as well because the Glacier website will keeps the road construction updates kind of posted on there.
So get
because it's in
technology.
January. I didn't look at the current road construction on the website before this, but
because it's all plugged with snow.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter right now. No one's doing anything in there right now. So
the animals are.
Some of them. Some of them. Some are hibernating.
Some are out there doing stuff.
Mountain goats, probably. Okay. What else can I not answer?
Well, you've completely done what you can to educate me.
Something else I want to point out too, tribal members, you get in, don't need reservation, things like that. So
all tribal members? Like any tribe in the United States?
I'm going to go, yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
We'll clarify.
And there's free days.
Yes, there are also free days.
On those free days, which they seem random, but they all have a purpose. Do you need a reservation ticket on the free days?
So I'm looking at this. This is from Glacier's website, which was still reflecting 2022 fee-free days, but in general, these are the dates here. It's typically Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is January.
Well, that's awful nice of them.
The first day of National Park Week, which is in April. Great American Outdoors Act, which is in August. National Public Lands Day in September. And then Veterans Day in November. On here, as of 2022, no entrance fee will be charged. However, I'm thinking you still need to have the reservation. Because, I mean, it would just be even more mass chaos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my assumption.
And those dates are not just for Glacier. Those are for all national parks.
Yes. But you should come to Glacier on those days.
And as a side note, there is no reservation system for Yellowstone National Park.
Correct. Yet. We will not be surprised.
Aren't you going to
comes.
look forward to the episode where we discuss Yellowstone's reservation system
I will put a
at
plug.
some point in the future?
If you come to Great Falls in the winter, which you should because we have a lot going on.
It looks like summer out now.
It really does, actually. It's still pretty green, which is surprising. Glacier is closer, right? But Yellowstone's really not that far of a drive either. Right. It's pretty easy drive if it's not icy on main thoroughfares to get there. I have been in Yellowstone, both in summer and winter. And honestly, winter is such a beautiful experience because you're not driving in. It's controlled. There's not very many people because you have to take either a snowmobile or a snow coach tour, which is what I've done. And you're just sitting in the snow coach and the bison are walking by. You drive up, you can get out for a few minutes at geysers and things like that. And it's just stunning in the winter. So I will say that is.
Thank you for not saying you get out and pet the bison.
No. Don't try to pet the fluffy cows. Don't do that.
Don't.
No.
Well, I think you've done a fairly decent job.
Thank you.
There's a lot more happening this year than previous years, and a few things that have changed a little bit.
I do want to mention too, cell phone service. There's not a lot of it around Glacier. So this is where you'll also, especially if you're not from Montana or maybe a more remote area, like you cannot rely on having cell phone service, access to the internet, anything like that, once you get kind of anywhere close to Glacier. Right. So that being said, if you have, you'll pull your park pass up, your reservation up on your phone. It'd be a great idea to take a screenshot of it so you have it so you don't have to rely on getting on your email or internet or whatever when you pull up to those. So I can't take credit. That was all Jenna. But
look at what they learn every year.
I know, right?
So the things you have to remember to tell people.
Yes. And so say you and I and Callie are all going to Glacier. You make the reservation. I'm driving. We're all in one vehicle. We just need one, we don't each personally need a reservation.
It's not per person, it is per vehicle.
But if you make sure you have your ID though, because the person who made the reservation will have to show their ID.
So if I make the reservation for you and Callie Jean, you have to take me along because you'll be screwed if you get up there with that ticket.
Your ID.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes. So keep that in mind. Got to have ID.
I would love to understand Why that's a rule? Like, we can't have people stealing
Using
other people's.
yeah, I mean, it's not like there's going to be a duplicate pass, so just whatever.
And what are you gonna? What do you can't sell it on the open market?
Right. I mean, maybe we could take that on.
Oh my goodness. We've had stranger conversations about business ventures in this office, but
that's true. You guys have.
I like how you preface that with you guys.
I was an observer to the conversations. Okay.
But that's the same with your, like, if you have an annual park pass, you have to put a name on it. And the only people who can use it are yourself and your husband.
Yeah, which is
or your spouse.
Yeah, it's kind of lame.
So they're pretty strict about it. I mean, it's the federal government, people.
Yeah. I don't like that part, but whatever.
What else do we need to know, Shannon?
Well, I'll just do, I know you did a recap, but I'll just do a quick recap as well, just to make sure we covered everything here. So you're going to come to Glacier National Park. If it's before May 26th or after September 10th, across all the park, you don't need a reservation. If you're coming in starting May 26th to the west side, which includes the west entrance and North Fork, you need a reservation. You can get into the North Fork at the Pole Bridge entrance there, past Pole Bridge, before 6 a.m. or after 3 p.m. At the west entrance at West Glacier, due to road construction, the only time you can get in without a reservation after May 26th is after 3 p.m. We go to the east side of Glacier National Park. New this year are all of the entrances, which are 3 of them on the east side of Glacier National Park, are all included in this reservation system. The east side reservation system starts later on July 1st. So if you're going to the east side before July 1st, you do not need a reservation. If it's after July 1st, you need a reservation. But you can get in, there's not construction happening, you can get in on the east side after July 1st without a reservation before 6 a.m. or after 3 p.m. If you're planning to do Going to the Sun Road, the access points to that are from the west entrance in West Glacier or from St. Mary on the east side. If you're doing Going to the Sun Road, your reservation that you make is good for 3 consecutive days. All other places, the North Fork, Mini Glacier, and Two Medicine, those reservations are good for 1 day. You can get them in advance on a rolling block schedule starting February 1st. February 1st, those reservations open up for May 26th through the end of June, and then follows after that. So March 1st then opens for the month of July reservations, April 1st for the month of August reservations, May 1st for the month of September. Again, reservation system ends on September 10th. You must have a park pass. That's roughly $35. That's kind of the most popular one. And you will pay a $2 processing fee at recreation.gov to get your vehicle reservation. The only place you can get your reservation, don't call, don't write, it's only at recreation.gov. If you don't get one in advance, you can get one 24 hours in advance. The day before by 8 a.m. 8 a.m. is when you need to get on because they go quickly. There's a set number, but we don't know how many.
Woo!
Yes.
Hey.
Did I cover most of it? Did I recap?
I think that hit the high points. Okay. So just keep replaying that part.
Yeah.
You've got it handled. All the other questions, we'll start to figure things out.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the big stuff.
And if you have other questions, let us know because others will have it too and we'll get it figured out. Yeah.
Well, we have access to get information.
Yeah. I can email Jenna.
Yeah. I'm like, not to be snobby about it,
but we in theory should be able to get you the answer in a more efficient manner. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have access to someone.
Got connections.
I know it's tough and I know it's a pain in the butt. But prepare and plan for your glacier experience.
And I will say, once you're in the park, it's so worth it.
Hopefully you get your golden ticket. If not, check out the Bob.
Yeah.
check out the little belts. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities still,
yes,
but
absolutely.
just nothing compares to going to the Sun Road. We get that, but sometimes it might not work out for you.
Right.
So if you need help, give us a call, 406-761-4436. I assume that's our phone number. You'll find out sooner or later. Email us at information@visitgreatfalls.org. And then you can always find our information at visitgreatfallsmontana.org. I think they both go to the same place.
And our social media channels as well.
Check out our social media channels. It won't hurt to like and follow along. And here's a fun thing. Why don't you rate, review, and subscribe our podcasts? We used to be Montana's #1 podcast. I'm pretty sure we still are. But there's people nipping at our heels.
Yeah.
We need to maintain our status. They're not as good as us.
It's very important to us.
We invested in a window that says it, so we kind of
it does do a lot, though, in all seriousness. To subscribe, review,
so we know what the heck's happening out there, people. So thanks for listening. Thanks for learning. Thanks for becoming an expert, Shannon.
I did my best on a specific set of information.
Oh, what an episode. So until we see your bright, smiling, happy, healthy face here in Great Falls, you're going to be kind to everyone you meet. And we hope you're creating amazing memories with your friends and family wherever you are. We'll see you soon.
We're No Dam Experts is the recorded claims from Great Falls, Montana, covering what you need to know about this amazing damn town. Damn, that felt good.